Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Underneath the Hood. I'm Dave Martin, the owner of Martin's Auto Repair in Central Phoenix.
I'm Glen Hayward, the proud owner of Good Works Auto Repair in sunny Tempe, Arizona.
And I'm Lee Weatherby with Accurate Automotive in the heart of Mesa.
And together, we represent 140 years of combined automotive experience.
Our goal is to change the perception of our auto repair industry by going behind the scenes and underneath the hood.
And we hope to share with you what it's like to own a small business and give you a perspective from an insider's point of view.
So let's get started. Good morning, guys.
What's going on, David?
Well, another great day, podcast land.
In podcast land.
Yeah, we do these podcasts pretty much. We've been doing them all for the last couple of years, and I really enjoy doing them.
Yeah,
And
we're nearly.
I never saw a sign that told me podcast land straight ahead.
You wouldn't pay attention to the sign.
You know what that's at.
We're heading.
Come on, Dave, that's true.
100th episode, are we not, Olivia?
We're getting close.
We're getting close to 100 episodes of Underneath the Hood.
Yeah, it's been great. And you know what? If you
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And if you enjoy our podcast, please like and subscribe.
Oh,
We would
absolutely.
love that.
Absolutely.
And today, let's start out by doing the day in history, Glenn. What do you got?
Oh my gosh! On this very day, April 2026, April, on this day in automotive history, 1916, Ferruccio Lamborghini, the louder? No, he's the founder. He's the big mouth of the company, bears his name and is known for his stylish high-performance cars born in Italy. He founded the Lamborghini luxury car company in 1963. His decision was famously spurred by frustrations with the clutch on his own Ferrari Enzo, Ferrari's subsequent dismissal of his feedback. So there you go. In this day in automotive history.
So, does your Lamborghini drive okay, Glenn?
My Lambo goes like a bat out of hell. Wish I had one.
Tell you
Sometimes.
what, it's so fascinating because you know what? Now I can now put it all together. I was born in '63. He opened the car company in '63, and that's why the Lamborghini is my favorite automobile.
You like the Lambo?
I really
They are
do.
amazing
Really
vehicles.
do. I got a chance to drive a Countach, and I didn't love that. I will tell you, did not love it.
Really?
Oh yeah. You know what? I thought it was all built up to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, and then it just turned out that you're kind of laying down in it. I don't fit it. I'm too big. I got the wrong body style for that car. But I did get into a Diablo, and I drove a Diablo, and I will tell you what, that was a fun car. That was a fun car. I actually got to drive it on the Autobahn, and I'll tell you what, a car like that is meant for the Autobahn. You know what I mean? It's like these Ferraris. You know, they're meant for the Autobahn because when you can let them go, and that's really what it is. You just let them go. It is. Wow,
Now, for those who
so
aren't familiar with the Autobahn, it is a highway that transcends most of Germany, and you can go as fast as you want. There's no speed limit.
There is no speed limit.
And when there's an accident,
But there are rules.
When there's an accident, all you need is a broom and a dustpan.
Well, yeah, I don't even know you need that because most of it's not on the roadway anymore.
But you were talking about you don't fit in those cars. The thing of it is, isn't it kind of? It's really kind of a terrible thing because when you're younger and you're in good shape, you can't afford those cars.
Yeah.
And then when you get older, you can afford them, and we see it. Customers will bring their cars in, and they're the older guys. They had this car that they wanted their whole life, and they buy it. But they have a hell of a time getting in and out.
Oh, and that's the whole thing. It's oh boy, I will tell you this. He just like you're talking about, he built a really stylish car, beautiful.
Oh yeah.
I mean the lines. I mean they're just unlike most things you see. You know what I mean? Very unconventional, very outside the box. And you know what? They're just it's something to behold. I guess that's the easiest way to say it.
Well,
but boy, you want to get behind the wheel, and when you do, things are much more condensed. The space is more condensed.
You drop into this hole,
But they've got power to just. I mean, it's like for heaven's sakes, you're strapping on a jet in your back, and you get in and go. I mean, it's fascinating how amazing.
but it's not
they make
practical
that.
because if you drive like that on our roads and highways.
Well, you couldn't
You're
drive
going to
like
get
that
more
out here.
tickets.
Yeah.
You're going to get more speeding tickets.
Well, you'd hit most things.
You'd have your license suspended and your car revoked.
People just won't get out of your way, Lee.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
I don't want them to do that. That's the whole thing. I'm a grandma driver, but I will tell you what, you get out on those, you get out on that Autobahn. Whew, man, everybody should experience that at least once in their life just to see what it feels like.
So
I'll get my Volkswagen Beetle out there.
Oh man,
Get it out
leave
there.
leave that in the garage.
70 miles an hour top speed.
Yeah, leave that. Well, you wouldn't even get in the left lane.
Yeah.
get
You'd
run
stay.
over.
Oh, you would. You'd stay in the right lane. You'd get off at the first exit.
You have people making signs at you as they went by.
Yeah. Well, see, on the Autobahn, it's not like
It
you have
wouldn't be
an
friendly.
exit every mile. It's about every 13 miles because that's how long it takes to slow down, before you can get over.
Pretty
And if you see lights flash at you, you get over. The rule is lights flash at you, you get over. Nowadays, people ignore you on our roadways, but there you get ignored and you do become road pizza pretty fast.
Yep.
That ghost cars are coming.
Lee, I
quick.
think you have a quote for us.
I do. I do.
I think we chased that rabbit hole
Yeah.
way down there.
Yeah, you like that, did you?
let's get the quote.
Now
I
we
just-
all
I just-
know that
I just-
Lee
I
Weatherby
just-
loves Lamborghini.
I just
There
want you
go.
guys to
He's
buy me
in
a
love.
Lamborghini. That's what I want. Okay?
He's in love.
I'm just putting it out there. You can't get what you don't ask for, you guys. Buy me a Lamborghini.
We'll go to the Autobahn and we'll find one that is on the side of the road.
Hey,
and
you know
we'll
what?
get you that.
And I would take it.
Yeah.
So as soon as I hit the lotto, I'll buy you both.
Well, here, this is actually a great quote. Okay, you ready? In the world of prevention, the greatest success is the event that never happened.
The greatest success is the event.
That never happened. Yeah.
Author unknown. Then who gives a rip?
Yeah. You know what though?
You could have said it, Lee.
I could have.
That is
I actually did.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a quote from Lee Weatherby.
Well, the interesting thing is it leads us into what we're going to be talking about, and that is kind of our garage, and what our garages really kind of are. You know what I mean? We house our cars, but there's so many things that get housed in there. And Dave, I think you got a kind of a story for us to tell us a little bit about what kind of can really go on, you know what I mean, if we're not careful.
Well, and here's the thing. Yes, 100%. We put stuff in our garage that we don't even sometimes realize that it is dangerous. It is very dangerous.
You bet.
I mean, you start putting flammable stuff in your garage, and you don't put it.
Put the gas can in the
Yeah,
garage.
put the gas can. Yeah, put the gas can in the garage. If you got turpentine or
Put
any
it next
kind
to
of
the
any
hot
kind of-
water heater.
Yeah,
The gas hot water.
anything with fumes involved in it is never a good thing, really. And something that I think all of us probably do on a regular basis and take it totally for granted is we charge batteries.
Oh.
We charge,
Wait, listen, we've got our yard
a
stuff.
weed eater battery,
Absolutely.
a drill, everything nowadays. There isn't. I mean, look
Lawnmowers,
at all
hand tools.
Look at all the stuff, the hand tools that we had. They all had a cord
Look at
on
the
them.
stuff we use in the shop nowadays.
Oh,
It
yeah.
used to be air.
Yeah.
Now everything is, electric,
powered.
battery powered.
battery powered.
Yeah.
So it's great because you don't have a cord anymore.
You bet.
I mean, we used to have to pull out the extension cord, and we were going to drill something. We'd pull the extension cord out and run it over there and drill. Now we just put a battery pack in there and go over and do it. And we do it with lug nuts, and we got impacts and all that stuff. We used to have air. Hoses connected to them.
You bet.
We don't have that anymore. So we just put a battery pack in there. And one of the things that as these things age, that's it's been almost 4 weeks now. My daughter called me. It was a Thursday night about 8:00 and said my house is on fire.
Whoa.
Yeah, and so I
Wow.
drove like a maniac over there to figure out what was going on, and
Everybody okay?
everybody got out of there okay.
That's beautiful.
Pets, animals, everybody
Thank
got out of
heavens.
there. So
Thank
everything was
heavens.
good.
The
It was
grandkids.
good. And on a side note, and I do want to throw that out there, is they were in the backyard playing, and my daughter's got twin girls, and they're about a year and a half old, and she's got a 5-year-old that is just turned 5.
Wow.
And they were in the backyard playing, and with the girls, the whole family was in the backyard. Well, one of the problems is and I encourage everybody to do this after this happened, is that put a combination lock on your back gate
Oh yeah.
without a key, because normally you don't have the key on you. Well, my daughter happened to smell it, turned around, and there's flames shooting out of the top of the roof of the house.
How scary is that?
Right. So
I mean, that's just a
they had
scary
to run-
moment.
They had to run through the house
Oh.
because they couldn't get out of the gates. The fence was
And they
pretty
didn't
high.
know it was on fire at that point.
No, they knew it was on fire.
No, but I mean, they didn't know whether it was the house or the garage, or at that point,
Well,
all
yeah.
they saw was flames,
Well,
right?
They saw flames coming out of the
Wow.
out of the
roof.
Yeah, out of the
Wow.
roof. And so they ran through the house, got out, and the fire department got there, and they did a great job, and they put it out. But half the house is totally burned out. The other half of the house has smoke damage and water damage. Of course, they filled the house full of water. So
Yeah,
everything
but you
just
got to
like-
get the fire out.
Everything is just either water damage, smoke damage, or fire damage. And what they kind of nailed it down to is a lithium battery for a weed eater.
Wow.
It was an older weed eater and a battery. And one of the things that I tell, and I learned this through this fire, is I went to my garage and I was leaving batteries plugged in. I leave them plugged in all the time.
You know what?
And-
We used to do the same thing.
And so I don't. But,
Guilty.
But one of the things that I tell
Guilty.
people anymore is that, and I learned this, is that when these batteries start to get super hot, or like
bet.
if you're charging it and you pull it off the charger and it's really hot,
Throw it away.
Yeah, the battery's no good.
Get rid of it,
You
because
bet.
that's going to be a potential problem down
You
the
bet.
road.
You bet.
And I kind of went home and I did a little experiment. I had an older battery. I plugged it in and I just sat there and watched it. And then the other one was a newer battery, and I put
You
it
live
in
a boring life. That's
I
all you
do.
got to
Yeah,
do. Sit there and watch your battery.
Well, I didn't want my garage to burn down. I didn't want my garage to burn down. So anyway,
That's what Dave does for fun on the weekend.
that's my fun. Well, yeah. I mean,
Well, I think it's actually pretty smart.
well, and I wanted to see what the difference was of this battery versus the newer battery,
Yep.
Right.
as far as how hot it was or how it felt.
Right.
And definitely there was a noticeably difference in the older one. I pulled it off. It was a lot warmer than the newer one that I had on there. So that's just it's just one of those things you got to be aware of. What's in your garage. Make sure that you don't put anything with fumes next to your water heater. If you got a gas water heater, especially,
Right.
Anything electrical, you want to make sure that you.
Well, the thing of it is, garages become collectibles. I mean, and I'm sorry to say that, but I mean, look at when we got our house when we were young, and we got our house. My wife said to me, I mean, we got a 3-car garage, and I said, "Oh, babe, I'm going to do this, this, and this," and she says, "Okay, you can do that because the garage is yours."
Oh boy.
License, yeah. She
Well,
gives it a license and then
everything that's no longer needed or wanted in the house now ends up where? In the garage or in the attic, or you know what I mean? And sometimes
She's just trying to give you stuff.
yeah.
Godly. I mean, come on. She's being a nice
Yes.
person.
like
Oh,
Christmas
Giving you
every
stuff.
day, man.
Yeah,
You gotta
there
she's
we
just
giving
give
go.
you stuff that she doesn't want.
I miss that. You know what? She's just a giver.
Yeah, she's such a giver.
I miss that. You know, the thing of it is then a lot of times, I mean, how many times do we actually go through and really take a good look at our garage and see, have something gotten set here inadvertently, you know what I mean? Because it may not originally have gotten stored there, you know what I mean? But it got set there because something
And now there's a
moved.
cardboard box next to the hot water, the gas
Bingo.
hot water heater.
Bingo. Well,
if it's
and-
an electric one, it don't matter. But
Well,
when they're
and,
gas,
and,
it's
and
a
to your
big deal.
point, I mean, and I love the point that you're making. Let me just say this, truly, please accept my condolences for your daughter and her family. It's wonderful to hear that they escaped, unscathed. Houses, I understand, they can be replaced. You know what I mean? There's
It's
things
just
they can
stuff.
do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, the fact of the matter is, like you said, you got to have a plan. Fires are a scary thing. You got to have a plan. You know what I mean? So an escape route, something, because man, you wouldn't want to run into a house, especially if there was fires coming out the roof. You know what I mean? That's just it's scary.
It went up fast. And another thing.
Well,
that
that's just it.
Another
Boy.
thing, so I was doing a little bit of research on this thing, and some of these batteries, these lithium batteries, when they catch on fire, they can shoot a flame like 5-10 feet in the air.
Oh, yeah.
A smaller battery can just.
And
Well, you
water
guys-
doesn't put them out. That's
I-
another thing we had. We recently did a thing on hybrid batteries, electric batteries. When that lithium ion went, like we've seen Tesla cars start on fire for whatever reason because something happens, some short in the battery. And the fire department comes in, they can pour 600,000 gallons of water on it. And I'm not exaggerating, and it doesn't put the fire
No.
out.
Well,
It keeps burning until
Foam or-
all the lithium ion is burned up.
That's correct. Because once that fuel ignites, it's got to burn to the end. You know what I mean?
Until there's no more.
Well, because you've got to contain it to some degree, and there's nothing. They don't have a dome. That we could kill all the oxygen, so it's got to burn itself out. But I will tell you what. Such good advice. We're leaving our things plugged in. I mean, and think about this. Wall chargers, our telephones, you guys, there was a few years back. Think about this. One of the big phone companies came out and said, oh, be careful about leaving your phone plugged in too long because, your phone might catch on fire or explode.
It's happened on airplanes. People's phones have literally started on fire.
Right.
And they can't put them out.
Right. But the key to it is we need to be kind of just alerted to the fact that, you know what, it's not a bad idea to take stock, and look around where things are in our garage. Let's take stock. Where do we have our charging stuff? Because, like, for example, let's look about our shops. Have you ever had a battery blow up when you've raised the hood? I have.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And
absolutely,
to your point, batteries explode. I mean, and it's hard to describe what an explosion is. I mean, everybody's seen grenades and things like that on television, but a battery doesn't necessarily go this way or that way. It can go anywhere. Yeah. And the thing of it is, when it does,
it's lead acid. So
it
you got
is.
lead and you got acid blowing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
you might not even get hit with shrapnel, but the juice or the liquid that gets on you, man, that'll burn you worse than any kind of debris, I would think.
And I had a customer that her and her daughter, they were at school.
Yeah.
And one of the guys who was over there said, I can jumpstart your car. Went to jumpstart the car, and the battery, it was shorted out. It blew up, and the younger girl, she got acid sprayed on her.
Wow.
And it was a little bit of a road recovery there. Yeah. So you got to be really, really careful when you're messing around with batteries. And that's really the point here, is when you are messing with batteries, don't take it for granted. Make sure that what you do is you look around your surroundings, where you're charging it. One of my techs told me, he goes, I have an older lithium-ion battery for one of his power tools that he uses. He said, I charge it on a rock in my backyard. He goes, I've been scared of that thing for years. Why don't you throw it away? Why don't you throw it away? And he said, I don't know. It works well. It holds a charge. But he goes, I'm not going to charge in my garage. I go, well, at least he's smart enough to do that. He goes, if it catches on fire, it's not going to do anything. It's just going to burn itself out.
Well, we got a list of things here that the garage and fire safety tips. The U.S. Fire Administration, lithium batteries, whatever you got in your garage. The Fire Administration reports that there are approximately 6,600 garage fires in the United States every year.
Now,
that's a lot.
That is a lot. That's a lot.
There was up the street from my house, this was a conventional gasoline engine vehicle, but one of the manufacturers out there was having a problem, and one of the switches, I think it was a switch, and it could cause a fire. It burned the car to the ground and burned his garage to the ground too.
Wow, little barbecue.
Yeah, a little barbecue. So there is, this fire thing happens a lot more than we really think it does.
Well, and you know what, I think I would love to point out something too. The problem generally isn't the chargers and the things like that we're charging with. So, I mean, I don't want people to get the wrong idea and think, well, it's because the charger. No, it's because we're improperly leaving the chargers and stuff like that plugged in to some of these products.
And age has a big factor in that
You
too.
bet.
I mean, when they
bet.
start, these batteries have a timeline.
You bet.
You know what I mean?
But I'm talking about even some of the chargers for like some of the new EVs and stuff like that. You can get chargers in your home, and those are not the problem. You know what I mean? In fact, the key to it is as long as they've been installed professionally, I mean, you don't have problems with things like that.
They have a lot of safety devices built into them. If something starts overheating,
absolutely.
That's right. And that's a very good point, because that is definitely the key to it. Whoever installs it, make sure, with the technology we have today, there is a lot of sensors and a lot of safety devices of it that you can protect yourself that way. But if you have the neighbor come over and he's going to install the plug-in for you, you don't know the outcomes of that's going to be.
Well, and the thing of it is, I mean, batteries are everywhere. We have them. Listen, we have them in our buildings. You know what I mean? And our buildings are just nothing more than structures. You know what I mean? Where fires and things like that can happen if we get too much clutter. I mean, I guess some of the things that I love some of the tips that you've thrown out. You know what I mean? We want to make sure that we declutter. to some degree. We want to make sure that
we should do that in our lives, period. I mean, the thing of it is everyone
can't tell people what to do, but that's true.
Oh, it is true because you're putting yourself at risk.
Yeah.
Another thing is
we're hoarders though, Dave. Let's face it.
Yeah, no kidding. I got stuff in my van that I probably shouldn't have either. But in FEMA reported that garage fires cause on an average of $457 million in property damage annually.
That's crazy.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, no, that's a lot.
In the National Fire Protection Association in 2026, it says the garage has officially become the highest risk area in the home for lithium-ion incidents, now accounting for nearly 32% of all residential battery-related fires.
32%. You guys, that's a third. That's significant.
Yeah. Think about that.
That's huge.
So obviously,
32%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And like we're talking about, the thing of it is technology change, and more people have. Everybody has battery operated stuff nowadays.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you got battery operated stuff, and kids' toys. You got, and it's all rechargeable stuff. So, there's just a lot more out there that can burn.
Well, I love something that you said though. There are things that you can tell, when you're charging, you check the heat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We all know that if something's getting a little hotter, it's probably getting a little older. It's time to, let's get a new one. Now, the other thing is they make these things called heat sensors, not smoke alarms, not smoke detectors, but heat detectors.
Yeah.
That I'm going to tell you, it's probably not a bad idea to be thinking about, investing in one of those. They're not overly expensive. You know what I mean? Easy to install, but I mean, they can literally sense heat. You know what I mean? And here's the thing. Think about a garage in Arizona. Just think about your attic.
Yeah.
Okay. It's 116 degrees outside, and they measure that supposedly, quote unquote, in the shade, right? Okay. So imagine you're in your attic, you're in the shade now. It's 116 degrees up there. No, way hotter than that. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden you're thinking, wow, I'm sensing a little bit more heat, from downstairs. You know what I mean? Because we all know heat rises. I mean, it's probably...
Well, and when was the last time anybody here, when was the last time you checked your smoke detector?
That was where I was going with that.
Yeah,
you gotta check
absolutely.
batteries. You know what I mean? Just put, man.
Change it out, and really what we should do if life was perfect, you put it in your phone that you would change the batteries out once a year and be done with it.
There you go.
What I mean?
There you go.
But I mean, do we do that? No.
But you know what? It's not any different than really what we're talking to people about our cars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Change your filters on a very routine basis. You know what I mean? Use a strategy. Change your fluids on a very routine basis. Why? Because you'll get more out of them. All right. Same thing's true with, our homes and, our garages specifically. You know what I mean? Let's make sure that we declutter. You know what I mean? And whatever that means to you, do that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, let's make sure that we're practicing safe. What I'm going to say, we're using good discipline. I think they called it here, practice charging discipline. You know what I mean? I liked that. Practice charging discipline.
Like we got nothing else to do. I mean, I realize that these institutions come up with all these ideas, and they're great. They're valid, but life happens. We get busy doing stuff, but we're just trying to give you heads up and give you something to think about. And if you're listening to this podcast, and you do have lithium-ion batteries charging somewhere in your house, your garage, or whatever.
Most batteries nowadays are lithium-ion.
Up, the light is steady red, and it says it's done. Pull them off the chargers.
You bet.
The charger's not the problem, like Dave said.
Yeah.
It's the batteries themselves. So, it's just a heads up for everybody. We're concerned about everyone's safety and health and welfare.
One of the great things that it mentions in here on that charging discipline, though, how many times do you have that one strand where you've got 14 plugs plugged into it? You know what I mean? And you look at it and you go, yeah, there's an open spot here. I can get another one in here. Come on, bring that thing over. No. They want you to go directly into the wall. You know what I mean? Go directly to the source. And I think, wow, that's intelligent. You know what I mean? Because we all know it's not a good idea to overload the little box. You know what I mean? So
well, and the thing of it is too is one of the things a lot of the strips. If you're plugging some stuff into the strips, but like you said, you don't want to overload it either. But if you're plugging stuff in the strip, a lot of those have a surge protector in them.
They do.
That kind of helps a little bit. So sometimes that's better if you just got if you got an old house. let's say you got an old house that was built in the 50s and 60s. Sometimes I think the surge protector is probably a little better than plugging it into the wall.
Yeah. Some of those older houses too were built with fire barriers between the garages,
Oh,
you know what I mean,
absolutely,
and the
yeah.
home. And I
Yeah.
think, that's probably a good idea too, because even a fire door, something that could keep something that gives you just a little bit extra time.
Well, like my
moment.
My daughter's fire went up through the attic.
Yes.
But once it
Well,
got,
because
once,
of course.
once it got in the
Heat
attic,
rises.
yeah, but once it got in the attic, it goes everywhere.
You bet.
So even if you have,
And then
you
the
could
roof
have,
collapses and falls in. And
you could have a steel door, and it wouldn't really matter.
But at least it allows the
right.
pathway for them to
Right, to
escape.
get out, to get out.
escape.
Yeah. From the safety standpoint, you're right. You're better off if it's above there. It's you still can get out.
You bet.
One thing I do want to correct on this thing, you're 100% right about the strips.
I like that. I like being right.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
Your
gonna
wife,
say
your wife never tells you
It's very
that.
rare we have to ever tell Lee that he was 100%
Yeah, I know.
So
And
take it while you can.
And I want
Guys, when you're good, you're good.
I can't work like this. But I want to make sure that we clarify that.
Yeah.
The thing of it is to your point.
Right.
Your point is the thing of it is you never want to overload those strips.
Absolutely.
And that's the key, because you will increase your chances of a fire risk by overloading those strips. And to plugging into the wall is if you are going to overload that
Go
strip,
direct.
you definitely do it. Go direct to the wall and plug it in. Your chances
They will
of
trip
having
a
a fire
breaker
are less.
before it'll
Yeah.
burn your house down.
Right. The
Yes.
breaker should solve that problem. But
Yeah.
if you got low voltage stuff,
You're probably fine.
you'd be fine. But when you start getting up to the higher stuff,
You bet.
that draws a lot more electricity, you want to make sure that you plug it directly into the wall. To your point,
Yeah.
and so I just wanted to clarify that, because they really
Direct is best.
Yeah, direct is best.
Direct is
Absolutely.
best.
And a lot of times,
Plus, it's easier for, if there is something that's fire something, it's easiest to eliminate that, just a direct pull or whatever the case may be, So it's like, say,
well, and then they got a lot of times in the garages now they got the GFI.
you bet.
So the GFI will pop before anything.
As long as
before
it's
anything
functional.
gets repaired. So, yeah, as long as it's functional.
A GFI, by the way, is a ground fault
interrupter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
It's a fuse, basically.
Yeah, right,
they're
it's
in
a
all
fuse.
It's a fused
kitchens.
outlet.
They're in all kitchens and bathrooms. That way,
Well, not all. Not all.
all modern homes from the last
There we go.
probably 25 years have GFIs or GFCIs, and they're there to protect. Like if you're standing and you're just got out of the shower and you're wet, and you grab the hair dryer, or something happens, it'll interrupt and it'll shut the circuit off before you get electrocuted.
It's an added measure of safety.
And it started in Glen's house because his wife kept on waving the blow dryer over the tub, and Glen said, "No, we got to fix that."
Yeah, she was, idle threats. I'm still here.
Oh my goodness.
She wanted to curl his hair. That's all she wanted.
She wanted to curl my
She
hair.
wanted him to have curly hair.
Well, you know what? I will tell you this. I what would solve all of it? If I had a Lamborghini in my garage, I wouldn't have anything else in the garage, and so there'd be nothing else to catch on fire.
That's a good thought.
You know what?
Except for the stuff that your
that
wife
some
put out in the garage.
consideration.
You'd still have that
Oh
problem.
no! I'd put a barrier so that she couldn't get in the garage.
Well,
Boy, you're talking tough now.
Yeah. Well, she's not here.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly right.
well, on behalf of all of these yahoos, including myself, thank you for visiting us today on the Underneath the Hood
Yeah.
podcast. Even though this wasn't car related necessarily,
Well, it kinda was.
because Dave went through this thing, and we're talking about your garages and what's plugged in there. That's a very important thing that a lot of people will ignore.
Yeah.
And so
It's just everyday stuff that we're doing that we could maybe take a little check on ourselves and make sure that, you know what I mean? Some tips and tricks that, can help us avoid, things that your daughter had to go through.
Absolutely. And the thing of it is we definitely want to make sure that
You bet.
your house doesn't burn down.
You bet.
And for what it's worth, I want to throw in one thing at the end. We see that there's a lot of recalls on cars,
Oh, yeah.
and some of them have a specific warning: do not park the car in your garage
Yep.
until this recall gets fixed, because your car could
Fire
start on
hazard.
fire and burn your house to the ground. And it does happen. It doesn't happen really frequently, but you don't want to be that person, playing the
Russian roulette.
Russian roulette and try to kill me lottery.
Good call on that, Glenn.
Yeah, so I'm going to add at the end of this because it is related to it.
Yeah.
And so when you get those things in the mail, don't just throw them, they're just trying to get me back into the dealership, or I don't have time to deal with this.
Right. The recall things can be very important. Absolutely. 100%. You want to make sure you get them in there and get whatever issue is going on, because a lot of times they are a safety related issue.
Yes, they are.
Moral of the story is, you guys, do what you can to be fire safe. Keep your garages clean, clear, extinguish when you have to, expunge things that you can.
You got old cans of gas, old
Yes.
old
paint.
old paint,
Anything that's ignitable. Listen, our garages are cardboard, collectors. So let's make sure that we're pitching where we can.
Recycle.
Recycle. That's
There you
right.
go. Hey, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining
and we'll
us.
see you on the next episode.
Thank you.